Namaste, friends. This is Coach Nephie of Belly Yoga and Health Coaching, and today I wanted to bring you a video that was recommended by someone in our tribe. So shout out to Melanie. Thank you for the idea for this video. I am happy to bring you a video about how to make bookmarks for your daybook or journal. So daybooking or journaling is a great way to reduce stress and also improve the organization in your life, so that way you can better manage and track healthy behaviors, and you can also be able to let those thoughts just spill onto the page, whether that be in fiction, poetry, writing lyrics for songs, anything of that nature, to help really open up the brain, open up the mind, and reduce stress and improve healthy behaviors. So, how do you make a bookmark for your daybook if you want to do a custom bookmark? You don't want to go and buy a bookmark for $6 at the bookstore, or you don't want to buy a huge pack of bookmarks on Amazon. You want something that is uniquely yours. Maybe you're even going to give them away as gifts. Something that you can customize and do on the cheap. Woohoo! Okay, so the first step that you'll need in order to be able to make your own bookmarks is some sort of backing. So you can use backing from like art, paper. You know how when you draw on the art paper, the back of the packet of art paper is this sort of cardboard? That's what I ended up using for this round of bookmarks, but you can also find backing from, say, maybe a frame, a photo frame that broke, and you want to use the supportive backing from that frame. That's another place where you can find this material. Depending on the packaging that items are coming in, or maybe even in Amazon packages, you might be able to use that sort of cardboard if it's thin enough. And yeah, so and I'm sure you guys can find other places where you can find this sort of material for free. Reuse it so that way you don't have to buy any material, and it'll be better for the environment also. So once you have some sort of backing for that material and it's in good enough condition that you're going to be able to use it for your bookmarks, you're going to want to outline your bookmark. So with this, I used my ruler in order to be able to create relatively clean lines. If you have one of the what is it? It's like a clipboard, but it has ruler markings on the side. That's another thing that you can use really well to be able to draw these outlines. This is 1.5 inches by about 4.5 by about 8.5. So that's how I did the first step of making my bookmark, and then of course you cut it out. And of course, if you want to create multiple bookmarks and you have one of those amazing slicer things that you can see teachers often using in the classroom, you can, instead of using scissors, use one of those amazing devices to cut out multiple bookmarks. That would be a great thing to be able to give family and friends for maybe holiday gifts. If you have a lot of people that you're gift giving to, you can create a lot of those custom bookmarks. And then here, after I cut it out, I created the next step where I'm going to divide it into two 4-inch bookmarks. Now, of course, you get to choose the length of your bookmarks, and a lot of that is going to depend on the type of book that you're planning on using it with. So I wanted to create these mini ones, but you might create bookmarks that are meant for bigger journals. So for example, if you're using a smaller journal like this one, you might want a mini bookmark because it better matches the proportion of the book. But if you're using a big journal or a big day book, or you want it to be multi-use with a bunch of different library books, you might make it bigger, but I wanted to do miniature ones. So I created 2 miniature ones, and then the next step after that is to divide it in equal amounts. So this is 4 by 1.5, and it ends up being cut out to this size. After that, I used my ruler to measure down and then over so I could find roughly a center mark that's far enough from the border, so that way when I do use my hole punch, it doesn't create too small of an area here that is likely to rupture and tear. So you don't have to be super anal about creating where your one hole punch is going to go, but you do want it to be roughly in the center because you can troubleshoot it if you intend accidentally mark a little bit off center. So once you have your base all prepared, it's all cut out, it has its hole here for the ribbon eventually, you get to design it. And this is the fun part! So I wanted to show you two different ideas here. But of course I'm going to mention a few more. So this is one of my favorites to create. I love doing collages, I love doing vision boards, I just find them really fun and interesting. But you can use paint, so you could use acrylic paint, you might use maybe ink pens if you're using ink pens to create an ink pen design. You can really freeform here if you're an artist. Telling from this, you can tell that I'm not really an artist, I'm more of a collagist. But if you do want to be able to use like markers and paints, but you want a little bit more guidance, you might use adult coloring pages with complex patterns. And you can wrap that around the bookmark and then color it in, design it in, so that way you're not having to create the shapes. I don't have an example for that here, but you might just imagine it right there. And then the next step after that is to laminate it, so that way it increases its durability. If you have a laminator, you can use a laminator. If you're like me and you're like, how can I make awesome bookmarks without spending any more money using everything that I already have, you might use tape in order to create the front of the lamination and the back of the lamination, and then you cut around it in order to seal it off. Of course, make sure to press it down, get rid of any air bubbles before you do that final cut around the bookmark. And then on to the last step. So this is how I did my ribbon. I used plastic ribbon, but of course, if you have beautiful satin ribbon or multicolored yarn that you want to use, you might use that instead. This is really just like old school leftover Christmas ribbon, and I was like, ooh, that's a pretty color, and I'll use that. So you really don't have to go super fancy, but you can. The sky's the limit. You can go as fancy, as artistic as you want. Don't worry, you get to make your own bookmarks the way that you want to make your own bookmarks. And if you want to leave it super cheap, super accessible, like I tried to show you here, go for it. It's awesome. So the way that I usually tie, I create, here, I'll show you here. So I snipped off some ribbon, and then I'm going to create a loop with even ends. I'm going to put the ends through the hole with the loop at the front, and then pull the back through. That's step one, and then I tied it off. Pull it taut. And then to create a little bit more flair, I cut these in half. So that way it would look like this. Okay friends, so that is one way that you can make super cheap, accessible, reusing what you already have, bookmarks for your daybook or journal. So that way you can better track your health behaviors and release stress through the process of free writing. I will put the link for free writing in the comments below, so that way you can access that video as well. I hope to see you later tonight. We have 5:30 p.m. free complimentary virtual live yoga, and then we have 7 p.m. free complimentary virtual meditation. The yoga is going to be 60 minutes and the meditation will be 30 minutes. I hope to see you back in the Facebook group on the Facebook private event page for that event. Okay, friends, I hope you have a lovely day. Go out there, make some noise, have fun, and then come on home and write about it in your daybook. Have a lovely day. This has been Coach Nephie of Ballet Yoga and Health Coaching. Good night.